September 11th, 2020. My name is Achilles Lawless, and this is one of my journal installments, or recordings for my process of dealing with managing and living with complex post-traumatic response. I'll say that this is journal number 4. You can see where I'm at. I got my boy, Bodie. Hi, buddy. I'm living in Robert, Louisiana right now. Detached myself from a place where there was some refocus. I find a lot of what I'm doing right now is trying to clean up where my attention goes. I get too much in my head and too intellectual, trying to understand everything, and understanding people isn't necessarily my fucking job or my responsibility anymore. And my job and responsibility right now is to handle those that I have to handle and understand myself, but not completely from an intellectual point of view, and have guidance. And I have leadership and guidance in my life right now through a couple different forms. And the course that I'm doing right now has to do with emotional fluency, and the how much of my life is dictated by emotional responses. If I look tired, it's because I am. I've been up all night. My truck has broken down multiple times. For once, I'm involved in trying to fix something myself. And you have to learn. It's quite poetic, actually, instead of just handing it over to somebody else and just handing the money. Got money in the bank and I want to keep it there, and until I figure out really what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go. I don't know if any of the previous videos will carry any value in the long run, but it's a diary. It's for me. I put out a video that was about emotional men and emotions, and I'm a guy that is quite emotional, and a lot of people have seen that, and I wasn't allowed to express emotions when I was young. And there were many times in this last relationship that I was in that I was made to feel that my thoughts and feelings were, and my internal compass was completely askew, and my perception of reality was completely askew. Now, for those that are watching that may know the parties involved, this is not about making somebody wrong to make myself right. This is about me negotiating what I've experienced, what my experience was, and trying to find a way to not repeat the pattern. And the pattern existed prior to this relationship, and it was just a repeat, and it was an extreme version of a repeat, enough so that it's shocked me into truly deep trauma roots that go all the way back to the original traumas of my childhood, which is the source of my original complex PTSD. And what I've learned in the studies that I've done, and what I'm trying to negotiate right now, is get myself into some emotional equilibrium so that I can deal with me as an individual emotionally, and not still reacting to environment that was inflaming my already pre-existing condition of PTSD. And the behaviors that you can find in a relationship from somebody else that may trigger you into responding and reacting in dysfunctional ways disproportionately, and being a codependent person, I'm going to attract relationships like that if I don't deal with it. I'm going to attract relationships that are going to push those buttons and that are going to press. Considering that the magnitude and invasiveness, this boy is so cute. Bodie. We'll go swimming later, boy. It's our swimming hole. We even got a swim rope. A healthy relationship is going to involve me showing up way different than I've ever shown up for any relationship. And I mean, really, truly, honestly, I wasn't exposed to much more than cognitive behavior therapy prior to this, and I never looked at what I was living with through the eyes that I have now. And what I'm dealing with is my reactive self and the ego, and the superego, actually. And if you don't know what the superego is, please remember to write that down and look it up, because it's not probably what you think. And neither are flashbacks, which is what this is about. Flashbacks are what I deal with. Emotional flashbacks. I don't know if you can see the mist that's forming on this water. This is my place where I can go and get away from everything. There's too many voices in the city. Too many people's opinions, and I can't let that matter right now. I'm so easily injured by loss. It cuts me so deep. And it's and of course my reaction creates triggers in other people, and people project or empathize with my very transparent emotional state and then react to that, and then it just becomes an echo chamber, and that's not a healthy environment for anybody. But when you do end up with these collisions, you don't want to withdraw and isolate. You want to stay active. And I got buried for a little while there. I needed to make sure that I understood what was coming down the funnel, and I made sure everything was documented when the relationship broke up. But I'm getting distracted, and I need to stay where I am. I think it's because emotionally, this is extremely uncomfortable. I don't want to do this. If you're in a relationship and you find that you most of the time pointing a finger at somebody else, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You can bitch and complain for months and years. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant if it's true or not, because you're still there and you're not working on you. You're not doing your work. And your work means unfolding the patterns that have repeated themselves because you were the only common thread in your life. And it might seem like some wizardry or magic that somehow you have chosen another crazy person. That's not what I'm saying. But that's a conversation you hear from a lot of people through social media. So-and-so's crazy. A lot of blame being placed on everybody. Me as well. Guilt, you know. I'm ashamed of it. But I am willing to say yes and not turn around and say, I didn't say that. That's why I like documenting things. I want it recorded. Because if I say I'm going to change, or I say I'm not something, or I am something, I want proof. And this is proof. So we'll watch. I'll watch. I'll look. So shame, that's a really strong one. Anyways, guilt, shame, accountability. you gotta step into it. Grief is very paralyzing for me lately. Loss and the empathy that's required for me to disassociate myself from, or unattach myself, not disassociate, enough of that. Unattach myself from the other person and what I was hoping to achieve in terms of love and my grief, my pain, my issues, and just go, what actions have you done that would have put them into their trauma response? Those are, occasionally I get waves of it, and that's fucking insane, it's like that's what we do to each other. What I learned today was this: nobody on the planet can possibly access your trauma response better, which is your old PTSD, your old programming. Nobody gets inside of that tightest of circles more than somebody who is intimate with you. And that's where things start to disassemble in relationships, and where people start realizing that the relationship won't last a certain amount of time. And my cycle is pretty much about 3 to 4 years, and then I can't hide behind this overzealous guy who's just fawning for this person, which is one of my responses when I start getting into a relationship and I start behaving from, I know, are you stressed too? It's okay. I'm stressed too. Doesn't mean that we have to do anything but be right here and find peace. This is really fucking beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see how amazing that is. Anyways. Hi, buddy. Yeah. Our trauma responses kick in, and if we haven't dealt with the actual fucking baggage and how that's impacting our life, there's a set of systems that are set in place inside of our brain that are run out of the superego, and that's it's not an intelligent system. It's just a programming. It's a repetition and an emotional impact thing that it can be compared to like back in the Neolithic age or whatever the fuck it is, when we were monkeys walking around and figuring shit out, or tribal age. You'd have the elders, and you'd have your parents, and you've had brothers and sisters, and you learn what pain was, and they point at something and say, don't touch that, touch this. When you're a kid, you're given a structure. Well, that structure was not designed very well for a lot of us, and it's the entire format of how a family is built and how to build those things is not part of an education system. Nobody learns how to be a parent. I can't think of many people that don't have some sort of fucking damage from their childhood, from their parents. A vacant father and an overzealous mother who is drowning her child in love, and it's not love. It's trying to be the good parent. I mean, there's so many different dynamics, or an overworked mother and a non-present father, all of these things are going to impact our intimate relationships in the future. And whether you want to call it PTSD or you just want to call it really just fucking life's tough, you gotta, and you want something more than the same, you gotta look at that. So understanding how these frameworks are built inside of us and how they're impacting us today and what we're doing to make those patterns repeat themselves, although outwardly it may look better than what you grew up with, inwardly on an emotional scale, that's what's going to repeat itself. It's the emotional stuff. You might have a better car, you might actually have money and everything else like that, even though you grew up fucking broke. Your emotional state that's existing in the relationships that you have that are intimate, whether it's a therapist, whether it's your intimate partner, or somebody that's a leader to you, a coach, somebody who's fucking in there, that matters. Those dynamics, they're going to let you down, and they're going to do the things. I'm going to call it wizardry. I'm going to call it manifestation. I'm going to call it as well destiny. These things are forced to make you re-look at things over and over and over until you fucking either break and do something productive from it, or you just turn into something completely different. I want to know my true self, and I would want my partner to know her true self. I would want all of my partners to know their true self. I heard something very beautiful and profound the other day, and it was about loving yourself. The only way I can really love myself is to just be truly who I am, and as an individual that is not acting from that wound. When I'm in a relationship that is destructive to me and I become inflamed and a pattern is repeating itself and I am non-responsive and fully reactive, and I am regurgitating patterns and looking at a skipping record, it's time to stop and turn to myself and go, you're there. This is what's happening again. What are you gonna do? Now I got more of a platform, that's for fucking sure. I got a lot more tools. God, I wish I had these fucking 2 years ago. I just need to do me, though. I'm so sick of, I think everybody is. If you haven't been in a relationship that is still there, and you have gone from relationship to relationship, and you are still blaming other people, grow the fuck up. You are the common thread. And it doesn't really matter if they are broken. You are the person that keeps ending up there at the foot, kissing the foot. That is not a pattern that needs to continue. Nobody needs that. And all we end up doing is just feeding off of each other. These people are good for us. We're good for them because it's pain. And the only way that we grow or get destroyed is pain. You go to the gym, what do? You destroy muscle. You break down things. And then this magic power in behind while you're sleeping, because you did proper things, you worked out, you ate, you slept. All that magic stuff is your biology, your mitochondria just starts healing your body. But you have to do it within structures. And you can't overtrain. And you have to be patient and have realistic goals. If you don't go to the fucking gym, you're not going to grow, though. And the gym for this stuff, I hate to break it to you guys and ladies and anybody that can relate to this. You got to be alone, most likely. You got to remove yourself from the environment that's not helping. You need to seek help. And if it's related to PTSD, which is what this is all about, you're going to have to look at your emotions and how you're reacting and how that's contributing to your decision making, to the environment you're creating or permitting to exist, including the lack of your ability to have tools. You want to save a relationship? Well, I wish I could show up differently. Then you need to acquire new tools. You need to be a better quality human. You need to lead by example. And I've gotten myself out of harm's way, out of the destructive pattern that my partner and I were stuck in. And vice versa, I got her out of that damage. We're both people that need to... I can't get lost in life and just keep pretending that it's just going to go away. This has to change. Love means so much to me, man. And I'm tired of hurting. And hurting other people. You know. All people. All relationships are a direct reflection of where we're at. Blah. Bugs. Bugs are coming out and the sun is rising. Right now, I have to daily do a list of what I feel like at the end of the day. I do a list of the emotions that I'm feeling. I have to be careful with the dog out here in the country. There's a lot of deadly snakes, or snakes that'll poison you or bite you or hurt you pretty bad. So I keep them on a leash in the trees. I have to do a list of emotions every single day that I went through throughout the day. A really detailed one, actually. There's these emotion lists that are available online. Running out of battery here. And then the work begins of being able to establish where those emotions are coming from and how strong they are, the intensity of them, and what they're based in, the actual origin. Like, are they based in an actual present moment? See, that's the problem is that if I'm feeling something, I'm probably having an emotional flashback the majority of the time. And that emotional flashback means it's a disproportionate expression of what's occurring. I need to be present to what's actually occurring. And that overzealous emotional body is just plugging away and trying to save me. Well, that's my super ego in overdrive, just doing what it's been trained to do, which is stay fucking safe because things hurt before. Things are going to hurt today too. It doesn't mean that it's the same kind of hurt that happened when I was a kid. And if I'm a grown-ass man, I'm going to be able to learn how to endure that shit. So yeah, it probably made a lot of people uncomfortable seeing me act as injured as I have through multiple chapters in my life. I'm an incredibly sensitive person, means I have a lot of emotional flashbacks. And there's a lot of negative stigma wrapped around those of us who are very expressive about our emotional flashbacks. And it's because there isn't a lot of education on this stuff. Stigmatizing people that are emotional, stigmatizing people that are completely unemotionally available. These things are all responses to trying to protect oneself. All of these are reactions. You know, if you're looking at personality disorders, which I have definitely fit into the category of somebody who is immensely codependent and swings in and out of immense codependence to pretty healthy interdependence. As long as I can control my emotional fluency and tune in, then I'm going to end up operating pretty good. But as soon as I start surrounding myself with environments that are suboptimal, it's a downward spiral. You can't navigate that stuff. Which way do we go? I don't know if you guys can see that. This is Louisiana. It's a stairwell that goes up to a little hunting shack up there. It's fucking cool down here. Some days you'll hear the accent a little bit longer. I'm living with a guy from Arkansas who's got a heavy Arkansas accent mixed with a little bit of Louisiana. Man, that is some messed up shit. Anyways. I hope this reaches somebody and helps a bit. I've already gone back and looked at a lot of my stuff and made a couple diaries that I was just like, nah, that's not me doing the work. It's me getting distracted. I need to be accountable. Take care of you guys, and I know it doesn't mean much to you, but it means a lot to me. Pray for us. Pray for us that are hurting. That the Creator's Spirit helps us heal and really see truth and be good and loving. Take care, you guys.